Check, 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 check. Cheatham, and tonight it's the finals of the traditional Bank Holiday Classic here at Lexington Catholic. It'll be the Knights against the Henderson County Colonels. Henderson County comes in off the big upset over number one team in the state, Trinity, last night, and Catholic was really cooking behind Tanner Johnson with 31 last night in their big win over Boyle County. Coach Justin Cheatham joins me as always here on the basketball game of the week. Also want to thank Rafferty's Restaurants, Crown Trophies, and Sutherland Chevrolet over in Nicholasville to see Don Gabbard over at Sutherland Chevrolet. Coach, it is not Trinity. It's Henderson. Surprise, surprise. Henderson County and Lexington Catholic. Everybody thought when this tournament started it might come down to Lexington Catholic and then one-ranked Trinity.
Well, Gary, I think last night at the halftime of the Henderson-Trinity ball game, everyone thought it would be Trinity moving on. But, wow, from the start, this Henderson County team has shown so much heart. They're down by double digits versus Henry Clay. You think it's over. Their star Simmons fouls out. They fight back. They come out against Manual. They get up 12. Lose their lead, still find a way to knock down some free throws at the end of the game, and then they come in last night and upset the number one team in the state after being, again, down 15 points. The team just looks destined to win this tournament. But Lexington Catholic on their home court tonight, led by the phenomenal talent Tanner Johnson, 31 points last night. They certainly would have to go into this game as the favorite.
Henderson County has a three-prong attack, if you will, with Brady Norman, who averages 15 points, DJ Washington, who averages 14, and David Simmons, who pumped in 28 last night against Trinity. So it's a very talented Henderson County team. Catholic with 5 senior starters. These 7 seniors have been together for a long time. Brandon Salzman, if you ask him quite pointedly, he pointed to this season as a year he thought Lexington Catholic would make some strong headway in the 11th region, and I indeed think they will.
Right. Well, you want talent on your team, and they certainly have that, but if you can combine talent with experience, well, that's a recipe for a championship, and that's what Lexington Catholic will go for tonight.
Tyler Smithart is the coach of Henderson County. Brandon Salzman, the coach of the Knights of Lexington Catholic. We'll step out with Terry Murphy, our producer, William Warfield here on PrepSpin producing. You can watch us live on TV tonight and simulcast with WVLK. You can watch the PrepSpin.com webcast and listen to our WVLK broadcast. With Terry Murphy producing, Gary Ball here courtside with Coach Justin Cheatham and William Warfield. We'll return in 60 seconds with some more pregame of the traditional Bank Holiday Classic here at Lexington Catholic.
Have bad taxes taken control of your life? Take back control and avoid tax liens, bank levies, garnished wages, and criminal charges. Take control today and call U.S. Tax Shield now at 800-489-3838.
Hello, this is Harry Kurtz from Crossroads Ford. It's the grand finale year-end sales event, and it's a big one with the biggest discounts.
Yeah, it's huge, it's massive, it's bigger than all my muscles put together.
That's right, Arnold. Buy today and make no payments until February 2015. At Crossroads, you can save big, and your first payment won't come due till next year.
Crossroads is pumping up business savings and year-end taxes.
That's right. Buy a 2014 Ford Focus S for only $14,990.
We're stacking them deep and selling them cheap.
Hey, that's my saying, Arnold. But yeah, right now, get a 2014 Ford F-150 Super Cab 4x4 for only $29,460. That's a total savings of over $8,000.
At Crossroads, you'll be back. Their goal is to offer 100% financing to everyone.
The biggest shopping days of the year, plus a huge selection.
This terminates all other car sales.
Crossroads Ford Lincoln, 1070 Versailles Road, or visit us on the web at drivecrossroadsford.com.
For tax, license, title, and documents include all applicable rebates and incentives may require financing through FMCC. Due to a deadline, some units may be sold.
We were rolling down this road in
Anbar Province.
all of a sudden
There's a huge explosion.
we knew right away.
It was an IED.
Then we started taking sniper fire
and RPGs from the hills.
Today's servicewomen face the same combat dangers as men.
It's pretty amazing.
We made it out alive.
But at home, women veterans face different challenges. DAV understands this and fights to get women veterans the health, disability, and financial benefits they were promised. Visit DAV.org for free help.
Have back taxes taken control of your life, your bank account, your paycheck? It's time to take back control and avoid tax liens, bank levies, garnished wages, and criminal charges. Take control today and call U.S. Tax Shield now at 800-489-3838.
Hi, my name is Scott Frazier, Vice President and Market Manager for Cumulus Lexington and News Talk 590 WVLK. I want to take a moment to wish you, our listeners and advertisers, a safe and happy holiday season. We in the Cumulus family are grateful to be part of the Central Kentucky community and thoroughly enjoy the part we play in providing information, news, sports, and entertainment to our many listeners. Thank you for listening, and from our family to yours, I wish you happiness and joy this holiday season and more throughout the coming year.
News Talk 590 WVLK.
Thanks to Terry Murphy for producing back in the studios of WVLK. He's my producer every Sunday morning on Sunday Morning Sports Talk. So Terry and I see each other on a frequent basis like you and I do, Coach Cheatham. But we got to stop meeting like this at good high school basketball games. And I tell you what, this is one of the best games going on in the state right now. Henderson County 10-2. They're no fluke, Coach. They're a really good basketball team. They've got some of the best players in the second region when you talk about Norman Simmons and also DJ Washington. And, of course, Lexington Catholic has Tanner Johnson. A lot of people feel he may be the best three-point shooter in the state.
Right. Well, you've got certainly a balanced, experienced team with Lexington Catholic led by Tanner Johnson, and they're not going to make many mistakes. You know, they came out a little sluggish against Casey County, played a little lethargic, but boy, Coach Salzman woke them up because against Boyle County they put them away early. They handled the ball well. They took the open shot, made the open shot, and they look ready, poised, and ready for tonight.
Lexington Catholic comes in 9-3, and Henderson County 10-2. But I tell you what, right now, Lexington Catholic, one of a handful of teams, Coach Cheatham, that has not lost to a Kentucky opponent yet this year. So this Lexington Catholic team, not only do they want to win their own tournament, they want to keep that Kentucky record unblemished with no losses to Kentucky teams.
That's right. All 3 losses have come to teams outside of the state of Kentucky. I believe 1 to Georgia, and a Georgia team, and 2 to Ohio teams.
Yep, over in the Hawaii tournament.
Yeah, out in Hawaii. That's a tough place to lose.
Yep.
And then for Henderson County, you talk about those 3 stars. Simmons, 28 points last night. Norman, 17 points. Well, that's impressive, but one discouragement in that is that's 45 of your 57 points. So you have to think that Coach Salzman has paid attention to that and will pay close attention. That's 79% of your opponent's offense, so you're certainly going to try to make someone else beat you.
And Trinity kind of dominated. I think you said you watched the broadcast last night with Coach Wise and myself. Trinity dominated that first half, led by 15, but David Simmons came out in the second half and single-handedly said, you know what, I'm not going to lose to these guys. And really, Trinity had no answer for David Simmons. He had 28 points, but most of that was in the second half, and 15 of that was in the third quarter.
Well, it's the same kind of effort we saw from Simmons in the third quarter against Henry Clay when they were down double digits. And the boy just looks like he will run through a brick wall for his coach. And based on his size and build, he looks like a young Mike Tyson. He probably could run through a brick wall.
That's a good way to put it. He does look like a young Mike Tyson.
He looks like a young Mike Tyson.
I wouldn't want to go and get in a ring with him, would you?
No.
So it is Lexington Catholic. William Warfield is our producer on PrepSpin. As I said, we're simulcasting tonight. We got the live radio on WVLK 590 and the PrepSpin webcast with William Warfield. And by the way, PrepSpin tonight, we mentioned the sponsors on WVLK. Want to give some love to Kentucky Center for Orthodontics, Dr. Durbin Wong and was it Garner? Dr. Durbin, Wong, and Garner, Kentucky Center for Orthodontics. They're the sponsor with William on PrepSpin. So you can watch the broadcast and listen to see how Coach Cheatham and I call the game tonight.
It's going to be a fun game. It should be exciting. With the way Henderson County's played, most likely they'll either be up 10 or down 10 at some point, but it'll come out close and probably down to the wire.
I think tonight Jared Griffin needs to step it up for Catholic. He's been playing well. He had 15 or 16 last night. And I think also Walker Booth, the big fella down low, can have a game. But Mattingly, the big 6'8 kid for Henderson, really caused problems last night for Trinity's all-state player, their big 6'10 kid going to Spalding, going to Louisville. And I thought Mattingly held his own pretty much against Spalding.
Mattingly did exactly what he was supposed to do. He's not out there to score. He's out there to take up space, alter shots, and create havoc down low on the defensive end, and that's what he did, and that's what he'll attempt to do again tonight against Lexington Catholic.
Lexington Catholic comes in trying to win their own tournament here. It's a traditional Bank Holiday Classic here, 2014 edition. It is the Coach Dan Haney Court at Buter Gymnasium here on the campus of Lexington Catholic. I'm Gary Ball with Coach Justin Cheatham. He's the former basketball coach at Tate's Creek and been doing radio with me now. What, coaching your third or fourth year with me?
This is our fourth year.
Fourth year doing radio with me here on the basketball. You do a great job, and looking forward to working with you tonight. And tell us who our officials are tonight. I recognize Mr. Brooks there. Clayton Brooks is one of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the other two are.
They look new.
Oh, that's Eric Thornsberry.
Okay.
Is the one in the middle. And the third, I'm not sure.
So those are a couple of your officials tonight.
Right.
And Henderson County will be in white tonight. Lexington Catholic will be in the black with the blue. And we'll step out when we come back after the national anthem. We'll have the tip. It'll be Lexington Catholic and Henderson County here at the Traditional Bank Classic, the Holiday Classic here. Lexington Catholic championship game between Henderson County 10-2 and Lexington Catholic 9-3 on the season. We'll return after this timeout.
Today, the United States wants to be a partner in making the lives of ordinary Cubans a little bit easier, more free, more prosperous.
When you want the latest.
Okay.
BLK.
When it comes to your finances, the word surprise rarely means something good. I'm Edward Jones, financial advisor, Steve Robertson. Don't predict, prepare. So when life surprises, you'll be ready. Stop by our Lexington Hamburg office off Alashiba Way. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC.
Imagine a furniture store where quality's unsurpassed, where there are styles to suit practically every taste, where customizing your furniture's no problem, where only American and Amish-made furniture is sold, and where the sales staff is friendly, helpful, and never pushy. Wouldn't you like to shop at such a store? Well, you can. It's Perry's American Furniture Gallery. They hear it every week. People say, boy, we wish we had shopped here before we bought at that other store. Perry's American Furniture Gallery, 1176 Industry Road. See us on the web at perrysgallery.com.
This Christmas, when you put money in a Salvation Army kettle,
Expect change. Expect homes and hearts to be warmed. Expect empty stomachs and hungry souls to be fed. Expect need and despair to be transformed by hope and joy. Whether you give at our kettles or at SalvationArmyUSA.org, expect your contributions to change lives. The Salvation Army, doing the most good.
If you're like me, your wallet's feeling the pinch this holiday season. Sweet Jack to the rescue with $50 to spend at Ryan's Old Country Buffet and all your favorite buffet restaurants for just $30. Round up the whole family for a delicious home-style meal. Just tap into sweetjack.com on your phone or computer right now for 40% off your local Ryan's and Old Country Buffet restaurants. Sweetjack.com. Saving dinner one deal at a time.
Sweet Jack, now that's a real sweet deal.
National anthem here at the Buter Gymnasium on the campus of Lexington Catholic. Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham, William Warfield producing on PrepSpin, Terry Murphy producing back in the studios of WVLK. Now just about time for basketball, Coach Cheatham. Let's take a look at the starting lineups, and believe it or not, Lexington Catholic in the dark uniforms tonight, they will be visitors on their scoreboard. How about that?
Right, they go by the positioning in the bracket, and Henderson's on top, so Lexington Catholic will be the visiting team on their home court.
This is the lineup that Coach Brandon Salzman with that 9-3 team will put out there. Michael Talbot is your senior point guard, 6-foot senior, averaging 8 points a game. Jared Griffin is a 6'2 senior. We said all five starters for Catholic are seniors. Jared Griffin, a senior, he averages about 14, 15 points a ball game. Tanner Johnson, 6'5 senior. And, Coach, all the superlatives have been used about TJ, but I tell you what, if you can find a better three-point shooter in the state, I'd like to match him up against Tanner in a little shootout and see who would win that.
That's right, and he takes the right shot at the right time, which certainly helps his percentage as well.
Tanner Johnson, if you're wondering if you're keeping score, he averages about 25 points a game. Reese Ryan, 6'3 senior, sent a nice text to Mr. Warfield about how he's been enjoying the broadcast here on PrepSpin throughout this tournament, so we want to give some love to R-Squared, the great football quarterback. And the fifth starter, Walker Booth, the young man that probably doesn't get enough love from the media because he's 6'5", he's a senior, but he had 8 points last night, eight big points and 7 rebounds, and that's your fifth starter for the Knights of Lexington Catholic. For Henderson County, Coach, they'll counter with this lineup. DJ Washington is a 6-foot senior averaging 14 points a game. Brady Norman, 6'2 senior, averaging 15 a game. David Simmons upped his average a little bit last night with that 28-point performance. The 6'2 senior now averaging 18 points a game. Bryce Crowley, we apologize to the Crowley family. We believe at times we've called him Crowley, but the reason I called him Crowley is because I watch a show by the name of Downton Abbey, and it's Crowley on there.
Well, I'll take your word for it.
But here it's Crowley. Bryce Crowley, a 6'1 senior, averaging 8 points, and the fifth starter, Andrew Mattingly. I guess I shouldn't have said that I watched Downton Abbey, should I? But
well, there's nothing wrong with that, Gary.
And Andrew Mattingly. Mattingly's a 6'8 bruiser, a senior, so we'll see how Mattingly matches up with Booth. Those are your starters for Henderson County. As we said, they're in the white tonight. They've got the gold and then the maroon trim. Catholic in the black with the blue and the white trim. So Catholic in the dark uniforms here tonight. And we're just seconds away. The public address announcer giving the starting laps. Pretty good crowd in here for the championship, Coach.
It's a great crowd for an excellent two teams coming in this championship game. And, Gary, I'll tell you what, Henderson County looks focused. They have been through this 3 games of this tournament. Lexington Catholic looks poised and ready. Should be an exciting matchup between two excellent basketball teams.
And it looks like we might have a different jersey for Bryce Crowley tonight. Norman's still wearing his typical number, but it looks like Bryce Crowley is wearing 22 tonight instead of 31. So good thing we picked up on that right off the bat, Coach. Got to get our jersey numbers correct.
All the players showing great sportsmanship, shaking hands before this tip-off.
And we are set for basketball. Hope you enjoy watching it on PrepSpin and listening on WVLK 590, the home for high school sports. Tap is controlled. Simmons to Crowley. Now they go down low. Norman hanging, banking, missing. Pulled out of there by Jared Griffin.
Well, that's a planned tip play that was executed, just Norman couldn't finish.
Across the line is Jared Griffin for the Knights of Lexington Catholic as we start the championship game. Good tip drill there by Henderson, but Norman couldn't finish.
I'm disappointed that Norman just didn't go up for a two-handed slam like he did last night.
Griffin trying to go backdoor there to Tanner Johnson, throws it out of bounds and turn it over to Henderson County. A quick turnover by the Knights. Here comes full court press being employed by Lexington Catholic, and that's Simmons with it in backcourt. Comes over to Crowley. Crowley now kicks it back to David Simmons. Now he gets it across the 10-second line. Ball knocked away. Simmons gets it back, penetrates down the middle. Good shovel over to Mattingly and the finish.
Well, Gary Simmons is drawing all kinds of attention. He draws 3 Lexington Catholic jerseys, and Simmons with his head up finds the open teammate. Easy 2. Great job by Simmons, an assist.
2-0 for the big Andrew Mattingly, 6'8" senior with the lay-in, as you said, Coach, with the good penetration and dish by David Simmons. 2-0, Henderson on top, and Catholic's not been used to being down in this tournament. They've jumped out on everybody big time. There's a kick there by Henderson, but I think Catholic knows they got their work cut out for them against this Henderson County team. You know, when the polls come out next week, I look for both these teams to be in the top 10.
Well, they absolutely should be, and if you didn't know about Henderson County before this tournament, you certainly do today all across the state.
Skip out to Johnson. He can hit it from there, and also Washington knows that zone being employed. Here's a shot won't go on the right side there for Talbot. And Norman tries to track it down, but here's a turnover by the Colonels of Henderson County. So give it back. We are on radio tonight. If you listen on WVLK, you can also watch us and listen to the radio broadcast on PrepSpin/YouTube, PrepSpin.com with the live video tonight in HD, no doubt.
And it looks great. I watched it last night. It's as clear a picture as you'll ever see.
Jared Griffin thought about the 3, now penetrates, hands it back. Here's a long shot by Johnson. Off the mark this time. He's been hitting those. Rebounded by Mattingly. Here comes Henderson. They lead 2-0. They have the lead in leather. Here's Crowley lining up the 3 off the front of the iron. No. Tapped around. Johnson comes down with it. Knocked away by Simmons. On the floor is Booth. Still on the floor, and Norman comes out of there with it.
And, Gary, that sums it up again. There was a loose ball. It was anybody's ball, but Simmons is the one that comes up with it. He's come up with the loose balls throughout this entire tournament.
Those 50-50 balls, and Simmons has got most of them, 90% of the 50-50 ball time. With it, Curley kicks it out to Washington. 6:05 to go, 2-0. Saw Coach Feldhouse of Madison Central and the entire family here tonight. Feldhouse family. Norman back to Crowley. Swing it around. Both teams playing a zone defense here early on. Simmons working the right side. Now crossing over down the lane. Dumps it over to Norman. Lines up the 3. In and out. Rebounded by Griffin. Boy, that's something Jared gives you is good rebounding, Coach.
Boy, that was a great rebound, and both teams get up the floor well.
Talbot about a 15-footer bullseye. Michael Talbot, he gets Catholic on the scoreboard.
And that's what Lexington Catholic does so well. They just take what the defense gives them. Talbot sees an open look, takes the right shot.
Tied it 2. Norman dumps it to Mattingly, and he lays it up and in. Mattingly with the recipient of 2 easy lay-ins tonight. He has both baskets for Henderson, the 6'8" center, and it's 4-2 Henderson County with 5:12 in the first period.
Henderson's having some success penetrating to the basket and then dishing.
Talbot hands it to Tanner Johnson. Tanner had 31 last night, being defended there by Washington. Now top to Jared Griffin. Coach Salzman up calling for the zig or the switch or movement or something over there. There's Ryan down low to Booth. Walker backs it back out of there now. Hands it back over to Tanner. Here's a 3. All in and out. And Mattingly taps it and saves it into Washington. He gets to Crowley. Over to Simmons. Good hustle there by Henderson.
Great hustle and great defense.
Simmons down the lane and draws the foul. Johnson and Booth were there. We'll see who this official gives it on. And looks like it's going to go on Walker Booth.
Well, again, great penetration by Simmons. That seems like it's going to be the Henderson County game plan. Penetrate to the basket, and when they draw, dish, and we've seen every trip they've gotten something productive from that strategy.
Simmons, an outstanding free throw shooter. If you're wondering about him, nearly 80% on the season, and all he did last night in their big win over Trinity was go 12 of 13 at the line.
12 of 13 in a pressure situation in a tournament game versus the number 1 team in the state is quite a performance.
And he's 2 for 2 here, so he's hit 14 out of his last 15. In my estimation, that's about, 86, 87%, or is that closer to 90?
That's more like 92.
Thank you. Math was not my strong subject. 6-2. Griffin comes over to Talbot. Down the lane, dumps it back to Jared Griffin. Griffin works in Jared. Kicks it over to Talbot. Right side, faking with the ball. Goes in on Norman. Hanging on the baseline. No, there's Walker Booth to clean it up and powered in.
Walker Booth, great job crashing the boards there. Maintains control, puts it back up and in. Brings Lexington Catholic within 2. They're right back in their 2-2-1 press.
6-4. Good job there by Walker Booth to stay with it. The other way, here's a shot, been knocked down by Washington.
Well, the defender falls down. Washington squares up, says, hey, I'll take it right here. It's that lead back up to 4.
8-4, Henderson County. Gary Ball with Coach Justin Cheatham, William Warfield, and Terry Murphy here on WVLK and PrepSpin. You can watch it on PrepSpin and listen to the radio broadcast on WVLK. And losing the ball out of bounds was Ogbugu, who just checked in. Ogbugu, we're going to get Calhoun and Smith in for Henderson. Mattingly and Crowley will go out. And as we said, Ogbugu, he snuck in there on me, Coach. I didn't even see JJ check in.
I didn't either, but he's in there right now at the front of the press.
Sure is.
The speed of Henderson County is really giving Lexington Catholic some difficulties. They're going to have to set some more screens, pass the ball better, because they're not going to beat this Henderson County team off the dribble.
Simmons gives to Washington, who knocked down that jumper last possession. Back to Simmons. Penetrating, finding Norman. He hangs, missed the layup. Boot taps, Calhoun gets it back, kicks it out to Simmons. He power moves, left hand no. Simmons gets it back and then powers it up and in. He's fouled, they'll count the basket.
Gary, that is Mike Tyson in a basketball uniform. That boy, you cannot get the ball away from him. Everything belongs to him. He gets his own offensive rebound, puts it back in. Just an outstanding performance already.
Makes it 10-4, Henderson County on the Simmons stick back. He's got 4 points already. Mattingly went to the bench with 4, and Washington has a bucket. Talbot and Walker Booth have scored the baskets for Catholic, and Simmons completes the three-point play. He now has 5 points, and it's 11-4. The lead belongs to Henderson County by 7 over Catholic.
Well, this is what we expected. You know, I fully expect Henderson County to get up by 10, but Lexington Catholic will tighten it up.
Griffith has it blocked by Norman. Coming the other way, here is Washington streaking down on Morse. Hanging, won't go. Tapped around. Booth battling for it. Picked up by Smith.
Every loose ball is going to Henderson County right now. They're going to back it out. Run a little clock right here.
2 minutes and 32 to go, first period, and it's all Henderson right now. They lead by 7. By the way, this 7-point deficit, the largest deficit Catholic's been down in this tournament. Ball knocked away. Johnson there. They try to get Tanner Johnson on track. I'm sure he's not been knocking down three-pointers like crazy in this tournament. With it right side is Morris. Donovan over now to Jared Griffin. 2:10 to play in the first period, 11-4. Henderson County by 7. Walker Booth as Smith works there on Tanner Johnson. They come out top to J.J. Ogbugu. Hands it to Donovan Morris. As we've mentioned throughout this tournament, these two kids, two of the best football players for Lexington Catholic and two of the best in the area. Ogbugu, one of the top receivers. They'll both be back next year, I believe. I know Ogbugu's a junior.
Yeah, he's a junior. He's been a spark off the bench for Lexington Catholic all season.
Here's Jared Griffin in the lane, knocks it down. Nice shot by Jared Griffin. Kind of lulled him asleep a little bit there, Coach, and then Griffin finished with a nice floater in the lane.
Excellent floater by Jared Griffin, and they spread the floor and are patient and get the good look.
Long pass to Simmons, wrap-around dribble. David Simmons now scoops it back over to Washington, 11-6. Henderson by 5, and Reese Ryan up off the bench there for Catholic. Going to find him another seat there. Doesn't look like he's feeling like 100% tonight to me. Here's Ryan to the basket, and
well, third time's a charm there for Norman. He missed his first 2 layups, and that one he makes sure to get plenty of elevation and use the backboard.
Brady Norman with a nice move on the baseline makes it 13-6. Griffin over to Tanner Johnson. Dumps it in the corner to Ogbugu. Ogbugu 17-footer bullseye.
Well, with the defensive pressure on Tanner Johnson, someone else for Lexington Catholic is going to have to step it up and score.
13-8 on the Ogbugu jumper. Say that 10 times. And almost a steal by Booth, but he knocks it right back to Washington. He gets it down to Calhoun, reverses it, and lays it in. Calhoun with his first basket makes it 15-8. Henderson by 7 with just 28 seconds here. Jared Griffin across the line. Coach Salzman barking out instructions from the bench there for Lexington Catholic.
Well, Henderson has seen the 2-2-1 press three-quarter court multiple times, and they just saw it last night versus Trinity, and it's not being very effective.
Tanner Johnson, a floater. Took a page out of Jared Griffin's jumper. Makes it 15-10. Griffin hit a floater in there earlier. Here's Norman, a lot of contact there, no call. Calhoun battling, Tanner Johnson's got it, and that's going to do it as he throws at three-quarter court. It's going to do it for the first period. Henderson County looking good. They lead 15-10 over Lexington Catholic here at the Traditional Bank Holiday Classic, thanks to Rafferty's Restaurants throughout the state of Kentucky. Rafferty's Restaurants with as special as you. We'll be back in 30 seconds with Henderson County leading 15-10 over Lexington County.
Your buffer between Jack Patty and Cruiser.
Personally, I think that these programs should be left to more qualified people.
Live with Lee. Weekdays from 10 to noon on News Talk 590 WVLK.
Hi, this is Tammy Weezy from Lexington Trailer and Hitch. This winter, count on Lexington Trailer and Hitch for all your snowplow needs. When the snow falls, give us a call. 252-5005. Whether you're pushing or towing, we'll get you going. And now we can keep you running too. Across the street at Weezy Auto Center, alignments, brakes, oil changes, a full service garage. So give us a call because the Weezys make it easy. 252-5005.
When you want to hear the icons of country music, only one station has them. 101.5 Nash Icon. All the music that made country great and your new favorites too. Iconic country music. Iconic country stars. 101.5 Nash Icon.
Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham, William Warfield, Terry Murphy back here on PrepSpin and WVLK simulcasting tonight. Second quarter action. Looks like Reese Ryan's checked back in there. Coach Tanner Johnson, right side, about a 15-footer, in and out. And rebounded by Mattingly, the 6'8 kid who just checked back in, who started for Henderson. We start the second quarter. Coach, what did you think of that first period?
Well, certainly Henderson County the aggressors again. Lexington Catholic has to do a better job of getting the ball in the hands of Tanner Johnson.
With it is Simmons. Comes over to Washington looking for Mattingly. Instead, looks like Catholic packing in a 2-3. Simmons into the paint. Penetrates to the basket. And, boy, he just willed that one in there.
Well, they're not packing into 2-3 very well. He went straight from the top of the key all the way to pay dirt. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you got to pack.
He's a quick kid. You're going to pack a little tighter.
17-10. Here comes Talbot over to Tanner Johnson. Right side open from three. Rips it in and out. They're going in and out for Tanner instead of normally Morse. And Morse lines up a 3. No, normally Johnson's knocking down those threes, but today they're in and out, Coach.
Well, every one of them have been contested by Henderson.
Curley down low to Mattingly. Mattingly in the paint. Hook shot. He's got 6.
Wow, that was a great looking little mini hook shot by Mattingly. Extends this lead to 9 points.
That's the biggest lead they've had. They led by 7, 11-4 in the first period. Now this 9-point lead is the largest deficit that Catholics had in their own tournament. This is a championship game. Talbot to the basket, put it up, it rolls off, but he's fouled, and the foul's going to be on Washington. Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham, William Warfield, our PrepSpin producer tonight, and Emma on video, Emma on camera there, our videographer, and Terry Murphy producing back at WVLK. Here's Talbot in, a little floater, rolls in there. Talbot's second basket makes it 19-12.
That's 2 for 2 for Talbot. He's doing an excellent job of penetrating and then pulling up while there's still room to shoot.
Crowley knocked away by Ryan. Good hands by Ryan, right in the hands of Johnson. Boy, good deflection there by Reese Ryan. That's not even a stat, you know what?
That's not, but it should be.
Tanner Johnson down the lane. Johnson, little floater. Got it. Tanner Johnson starting to get on track, starting to feel it a little bit, isn't he, Coach?
That is, and that's what Lexington Catholic is going to have to do.
Simmons wheels another one in. That's 9 for David Simmons. 21-14. Quickly the other way, Akbugu, and he puts it up and draws the foul. Mattingly and Crowley were there. And they're going to call that one, I believe, on Andrew Mattingly. That's his first. He fouled out last night against Trinity, did Andrew Mattingly. Of course, he was battling a 6'10 Ray Spalding last night.
Yeah.
Tonight, he's the biggest kid out on the floor at 6'8.
Well, Gary, Tanner Johnson is being defended by Simmons, who's just lightning quick and Mike Tyson strong. Tanner Johnson's going to need some screens set for him, maybe get some switches, so he's being defended by someone a little slower, because you saw how easily he can get to the basket right there when someone other than Simmons is guarding him.
Coach, when you watch this game, you think that Henderson's dominating. You look up at the scoreboard with that second free throw by Agbugu. This is a 21-16 ball game. I mean, Catholic's right in it, even though they don't look like they're really at 100% strength or sync right now.
Right, and we've seen 3 threes by Tanner Johnson not go in that you know they'll start falling for him at some point.
Well, they went halfway down. 2 of them went halfway down and came out, but he gets nothing for that. They don't get a point for that. It's got to go through the net. 21-16. Quickly the other way down low to Simmons. He's got 9. Swing it around now, just checking in there. Looked like it was Cartice Rollins in there. Over to Washington. Out to Curley. Fakes. Good pass down to Rollins. And Cartese turns around and puts it home.
Boy, what a great no-look pass by Crowley. And, man, just great ball movement there by Henderson County.
Cartese Rollins, who just checked in, the big fella. You talk about a kid who looks like he's a football player. 23-16. Henderson County leads 7. 5:10 to go.
There are no small fellas on this Henderson County team.
Right.
The one that probably doesn't look like he belongs is the one that does the two-handed jam last night versus Trinity.
Yeah, that's Norman.
That's Norman.
Brady Norman. Johnson into the paint. Falling down, dumps it back to Jared Griffin. Now over right side it goes to Morris. He lines up a 10-footer and rattles it in.
Well, that's great ball movement and a great look there by Morris.
23-18 on the Donovan Morris jumper. Lead is 5 for Henderson, 4:41 to go. Across the timeline, Washington over right side. Norman kicks it back out. Washington penetrates. Free throw line jumper. Back of the rim, no. High off the rim. Rebounded by Talbot. Talbot wanting to push it. Clears it out to Morris. He's got a 3-on-2. Morris down the middle. Knocked away from behind by Washington. He's got a 3-on-1. He leads it out to Norman with Talbot back, and he'll lay it up and in.
Well, we are getting up and down the court now, Gary. And I'll tell you, the fast break action goes to Henderson County. Their speed is something that Lexington Catholic's really struggling with.
25-18. Colonels by 7. Here in the championship game of the Traditional Bank Holiday Classic at Lexington Catholic. Talbot about a 19-footer off the iron, no. Rebounded by Washington. Kind of baited him. Washington to Norman. Norman hanging. Dumps it back and picked up good hands by Jared Griffin. Leads it out now to Ryan. Here's a 3-on-2. Tanner Johnson to his right. Lines up the 3. Off the mark. Morris Cerdo battling. Donovan pulls it down for Catholic.
Well, Gary, that's the difference in the game right there so far. Tanner Johnson 0 for 4 from behind the three-point line, and that is just really uncharacteristic-like for him.
Yeah, normally he's money.
And
Talbot.
That was an excellent look right there.
Tanner Johnson hands it back to Talbot. Michael. Talbot works in on Curley, and that floater rolls off. And coming down with it, Simmons. The timeout's going to be called by Henderson County. Timeout. They lead at 25-18, 3:26 to go here.
Well, they're tired, and they should be. The way they're getting up and down the court, Henderson County running the fast break, they needed that timeout right there.
We're broadcasting tonight on PrepSpin, and you can watch it on PrepSpin and listen to it on WVLK, the radio broadcast. Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham, along with William Warfield, Terry Murphy producing back at WVLK. And join us for more high school basketball next week. We'll have another big game for you. Nobody in town this Friday. It's kind of a quirk schedule. None of the Lexington teams are in town this Friday night.
It's going to be a quiet Friday night.
Yep. Be back at it next week. 25-18 here. And, Coach, what has Henderson County done to get this 7-point lead, which at one point they had a 9-point lead?
Well, Gary, they're handling Lexington Catholic's press very effectively. They're attacking the seams, getting the ball to the rim. They're playing very unselfishly, and they're the aggressor. They're getting every loose ball. They're just determined in this tournament.
Curley hands it now back to Simmons. Simmons down the lane. Johnson there. Kicks it over now to Smith out top. Curley. Three-pointer. Back of the rim, no. And Reese Ryan there battling, but Simmons there taps it away, and they get it back. Rollins helped out. Down low, Cartese turns, scores.
Well, that's just way too easy. That was just a demoralizing possession for Lexington Catholic. Reese Ryan, that was his rebound, and the Henderson County team just came over and took it away from him. And, that's just way too easy for Henderson County. Salzman calls a timeout, and he's going to speak strongly to his players right now and have them step it up.
3 minutes and 2 seconds to go. We'll step out for 30 seconds here on WVLK.
2 little tablets is all it takes to make your thin hair feel and look thicker and fuller. Guaranteed. Viviscal is clinically researched to promote existing hair growth for men and women. You'll love your hair growth results. Guaranteed. Viviscal is so effective, it's recommended by top doctors. Want to try Viviscal? Every listener that calls now gets a 90-day risk-free supply plus free shipping. Call now. 800-970-7643. 800-970-7643. That's 800-970-7643.
Gary Ball with Coach Justin Cheatham, William Warfield, and Terry Murphy back here. Pass down to Johnson, saves it out to Jared Griffin. With 27-18, and Henderson County Coach Cheatham has a 9-point lead here with 2:45 in the first half.
Well, Lexington Catholic comes out of that and runs a great set, gets a high-low look for Tanner Johnson. And, Gary, it looked like Simmons just bullied Tanner Johnson right out of bounds.
With the ball is Griffin. Comes over now to Walker Booth. Out top to Talbot. Swing it around now to Reese Ryan. He alley-oops it to Tanner Johnson, right side, hanging, throwing it up, no good. Battle for it, and they're going to say a last touch.
They're going to go to a jump ball there.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
I think Clayton Brooks is going to give it to Lexington Catholic. Knights will have it. Look a little out of sync, don't they, Coach?
Well, they look a little out of sync. They're not sure how to attack this this man-to-man now that Henderson County's in. With Simmons, they're trying to set some screens now for Tanner Johnson, but there we see a great, effective, out-of-bounds play, quick hitter for Tanner Johnson. Cuts the lead back to 7 for Lexington Catholic.
Tanner Johnson, he needed that one. He's got 6 now. As Coach said, he's 0 for 4 behind the line where he normally knocks them down like layups. Curley kicks it over to Simmons into the paint. Simmons hanging and a little off balance and throws it up and in. Looked like he might have went down a little wrong on his ankle, but it didn't matter. He's got 11 points.
It certainly looked like he came down weird on his ankle, but still made the shot off balance and is the first one to get back on defense.
29-20. Henderson by 9, and we're going to have a double dribble called on Jared Griffin.
Well, Lexington Catholic right now looking over at their coaching staff, wondering what to do, and it starts with passion and heart.
Yeah,
they've got to step it up. There's too many things happening too easily for Henderson County right now.
They're looking for answers to the bench. The answers are right out there on the floor.
The answers are on the court. The players need to step it up.
29-20, minute 36 to go in the first half. With the basketball, Henderson County, they're in the white tonight, and that is DJ Washington over to Brady Norman. He's one of those big 3 scorers. Down low it goes now. Washington, one of the big 3. Curley lines up an 18-footer, front of the iron, no, rebounded by Tanner Johnson. Leads it out to
good
Talbot.
Defensive trip there for Lexington Catholic.
Talbot kicks it over to Jared Griffin, back to Tanner Johnson. He backs up, now goes to Ryan. Talbot now with a minute 7, and it's 29-20. Henderson County by 9.
Absolutely no need for Lexington Catholic to rush in this situation. They just need to run their offense, execute, get the shot they want.
That's what they're doing. They're setting up a play here. Looks like they're trying to clear it out for Johnson. Ryan instead will go baseline, throw it up, won't go, but he's fouled there by Crowley.
And that was excellent execution by Lexington Catholic. They ran Tanner Johnson through the middle, flared him up high, and got the one-on-one matchup that they wanted against Crowley with number 22, Ryan. And a little bit faster is Ryan than Crowley, and he's able to get to the free throw line.
Reese Ryan's free throw knocked it down, and that's the first point of the game for R-squared, the 6'3 senior. Great quarterback. Still hasn't decided. They'll let us know. Got them both.
And it's a possession like that that can swing the momentum right back to Lexington Catholic when they run their offense, execute, are patient, and they realize, hey, we can get what we want if we're patient.
29-22, Henderson County by 7. They have lead in leather. For you folks listening on radio, they're going right to left on your radio dial. If you're watching on PrepSpin, they're the team in the white.
Henderson County very happy to go into the half with the lead, so they're going to play for the last shot.
24 seconds for Simmons and Washington as they play catch out front along with Smith.
We'll see if they make the same mistake they did last night versus Trinity. They went a little bit too early, gave Trinity 8 seconds there at the end of the half, I believe.
Simmons to Washington. It's down to 10, now down to 8. Smith, they look like they're in no hurry. 5. Simmons now with 3. He's going to knocked away there by Johnson, and good defense by Tanner Johnson.
Yeah, so with 4:10 left, there'll just be a lob. You would think Mattingly would come back in possibly, but it doesn't look like he's going to come back in. Throw it close to the rim and try to tip it in.
So Simmons set to put it in play with 4:10, and Norman fires it off the mark. We go to the locker room, and Henderson County takes a 29-22 lead into the locker rooms here at halftime of the finals of the Traditional Bank Classic at Lexington Catholic. We'll return, and Coach Justin Cheatham will give you all the first half stats and numbers here from the Traditional Bank Holiday Classic. Thanks to Sutherland Chevrolet. They're over in Nicholasville. Sutherland Chevrolet. Don't text and drive. Go see the great staff over there at Sutherland Chevrolet. Don Gabbard, the general manager over there at Sutherland Chevrolet. We'll be back here with 29-22, Henderson County leading Lex Cath here in the championship game of the Traditional Bank Holiday Classic.
So you finally got your dream car. BMW, Land Rover, Mercedes, Jaguar, Mini Cooper, just because your dream may
29-22 for Lexington Catholic. And with all the first half numbers, here's the one and only Justin Cheatham.
Well, Gary, with Henderson County leading by 7, they're led by David Simmons with 11 points. Andrew Mattingly, the big 6'8" center, coming in with 6 points. He's had a great first half. DJ Washington with 2 points. Brady Norman with 4 points. Rollins came in off the bench and with a big 4 points, and Calhoun with 2. They've out-rebounded Lexington Catholic 13-8, and that really has been a key stat. So many loose balls, so many second-chance opportunities for Henderson County, and Lexington Catholic certainly has to be more aggressive in that area. For Lexington Catholic, they're led by Tanner Johnson with 6 points, but really struggled tonight so far from behind the arc. He's 0 for 4 from the three-point line, and here's a guy that is extremely deadly behind the arc, and 0 for 4, and that's really because David Simmons is guarding him. And Lexington Catholic wants to do everything they can in the second half to run some screens, get some switches, and get someone else matched up against Tanner Johnson to get him the looks he wants.
Got a shout-out I want to give. Coach Starnes was just up here. His son Mark Starnes is watching the game tonight on PrepSpin down in Union County. So shout-out to Coach Starnes down in Union County.
That's great. I'm telling you, PrepSpin is just a great asset to high school sports all across the state.
Absolutely. William Moorfield knew what he had when he started this thing.
That's right. He knew what he was doing
6 years ago.
Reese Ryan with 2 points for Lexington Catholic. Booth with 2. Michael Talbot with 2 great drives, jump stops, knocked in 4 points. And Griffith with 2 points. So right now, it's Henderson County up by 7. They've been the aggressor. They've made the shots. They're getting to the rim at will. And, and we saw Henry Clay doing that to Henderson in the first round. Tonight we're seeing Henderson do it to Lexington Catholic. But, if you're Lexington Catholic and I'm Coach Salzman in the locker room, I'm encouraging my teammate or my team because of those last 2 possessions where Lexington Catholic was patient on the offensive end. They executed and they got great looks, and they scored 4 points on those last 2 trips, and that's just what they have to do to be more consistent.
29-22. Anything else? What about assists? And, I always look at assists because I keep thinking about Louisville only having 1 assist in the game against Kentucky, and that's why from now on I'm going to really look at assists a little bit more.
Well, and that's interesting that you said that, and we've seen Henderson dominate in that area. It's 8-2, Gary.
Wow.
Henderson County with 8 assists.
That's a 4-to-1 ratio.
And what we've seen is Henderson County penetrating off the dribble, taking the Lexington Catholic player, and not getting stopped. But when they do get stopped, they find the open man. Their head is always up. They're looking for their teammate.
Their first 2 possessions, they found a wide-open 6'8" Mattingly.
Right.
And he laid him in.
Right, and he laid him in. He's got 6 points. He's the second leading scorer for their team right now.
Usually it is an unsung hero, but you know what? Tanner Johnson, you can't keep a good man down. I'm telling you, he's the type of kid that could come out. Once he gets 1 or 2 threes to go, he's streaky. He could all of a sudden have 25 points in the say he's that good. So look for him to light it up. But then again, with me saying that, Henderson County knows that too, so they're going to give him a lot of defensive pressure, I'm sure.
Well, they're going to try their best to stay on him, but you can bet that Coach Salzman will run some screens for Tanner and get him some more looks because the ball has to get in his hands. It just has to. And but the players for Lexington Catholic, they're stepping it up. I mean, you see Talbot, he's knocked in 4 points. He took the right shot at the right time. Griffin, I think, will get more involved in this half, and certainly Ryan. We saw a clear out in which Ryan saw that Tanner Johnson was covered, and Ryan did the right thing. He took it to the basket and drew the foul, and went to the free throw line, knocked down both free throws there towards the end of the half. So other players have to step it up as well for Lexington Catholic, but you can bet Tanner Johnson will come to play in the second half.
And I agree with you. I think Jared Griffin will come to the forefront as well. He's too good of a player not to. Michael Talbot, as you said, had a couple nice floaters in the lane for Lexington Catholic. They're 9-3 for a reason, and Henderson 10-2. We talked about it in the pregame. Both teams outstanding. Both teams will be ranked in the top 10 when that first poll comes out next week. The AP poll comes out. Almost all the polls come out, I think, next week because, you got all these Christmas holiday tournaments out of the way in December, and then next week all the kids back in school, January 5th, and then those polls start coming out around the 6th or 7th.
Right. You have your preseason polls of what you think and where you think people should be, but, by this point, teams have 10 or 12 games under their belt, and you can really judge where teams should be in the polls at this point.
Last night against Trinity, Henderson only had 18 points at halftime. They came back and won that game 57-54 when they put up 39 big ones in the second half. Lexington Catholic put up 40 points last night in the first half. They've only got 22 here tonight at halftime. A much better defensive effort by Henderson County.
That's right. It's a 7-point game right now, but it might as well be tied. Either one of these teams could win this game. In fact, at this point, either team could go up by 10 points in the third, and the other would win. So you just never know. Right now, still, through that first half, I feel like Henderson was the aggressor. They were getting all the loose balls. They're getting steals that they shouldn't get because, Lexington Catholic has just been a little careless with the ball. And that's a team that's really strong with the basketball, and they usually don't make those mistakes. So you can bet that they'll play up to their potential in this second half.
Hey, join us every week for the big Rafferty's High School Basketball Game of the Week. We won't have one this Friday because there's nobody in town to have a game, but we'll have one next week. And Coach Justin Cheatham will be along with me as well for this. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the tournaments. The 43rd coming up in late February is right over in the house that Coach Justin Cheatham built at Tate's Creek.
It's right over there at Tate's Creek, and we're looking forward
to they actually call it Nolan Barker.
Yeah, I didn't quite build it. I just coached there for a couple of years. We'll be over there in the Nolan Barker Gymnasium, and we're going to be great hosts to a great tournament. And you know what? What district is tougher than the 43rd?
None.
I mean, you see some great basketball. I mean, think about that championship game in the boys' tournament last year between Lafayette and Lexington Catholic. I mean, that was just an epic battle.
You and I did that one.
So much fun to watch.
That's the game that Mr. Jackson Davis,
yes.
His father's Jonathan. Jackson had 32 points and 30 rebounds in that game.
It's something that I don't think I'd ever seen before and probably will never see again.
And then the 11th region, I see Mr. Hugh right behind you here. He usually runs that 11th region tournament over at Eastern. That's back at Eastern this year, so you and I and the whole gang will be over there along with William Warfield and PrepSpin for all the 11th region basketball.
And I was at EKU the other day to see one of my former players, Katie Pippin, playing, and they have a new floor. They have a new TV screen, and it's just some nice upgrades that Eastern Kentucky has made to their facilities.
We'll come back with the second half tip-off between Lexington Catholic and Henderson County. Colonels leading the Knights 29-22 here at halftime.
This Friday at 8:45, the News Talk 590 WVLK Deal of the Week is live. It's so sweet that we only have
for more information and reservations.
To snap up this offer, go to WVLKAM.com. Click on the Sweet Deal tab. Sign up and we'll remind you when it goes live at 8:45 Friday morning. Remember, quantities are limited, so don't miss out. Act now and get the biggest deals delivered right to your inbox.
One of our most successful Federal Reserve Chairman, Alan Greenspan, is warning Americans that current Fed policies may unleash significant volatility into the market. And he's telling people to buy gold. Don't you think it's time you consider diversifying your portfolio with physical gold? And the only gold company I trust is Goldline. Call them today. 1-877-365-COIN. Ask them about the different payment options and read their important risk information to see if buying gold and silver is right for you. But don't wait. Get the information now. 1-877-365-COIN. Don't forget, for a limited time and exclusively for my listeners, just for calling in, Goldline will give you a presidential $1 coin featuring Abraham Lincoln. Absolutely free, along with the free investor kit. So call Goldline today. 1-877-365-2646, 1-877-365-COIN, 1-877-365-COIN.
They have an 11-point lead, and they called it a push-off. I didn't see that.
Didn't see that either. Ball goes back to Henderson, and, well, they have just handled the Lexington Catholic press really, really well tonight.
Curley in trouble. Loops it out now to Washington in the middle to Mattingly. Norman calling for the ball. Mattingly standing there holding it, and now he kicks it over to Washington. He goes to Norman, back to Washington, penetrates, and back over to Norman, lines up the three, and that's an air ball. Mattingly got a hand on it. It's on the floor. Mattingly battling Walker Booth, and let's see what the official calls here.
Looks like they're going to call a jump ball.
And that'll give it to Catholic.
Going to go back to Catholic. Kind of an odd offensive set there by Henderson County. Kind of a 5-out set with your 6'8" guy at the elbow.
Again, if you're listening on WVLK, you can also watch us on PrepSpin and listen to the WVLK radio broadcast. Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham. Here's Johnson from 3. Got it. That's what we were talking about, folks. We weren't trying to, bait you. We were just saying when Tanner Johnson gets going, he's unconscious, and he knocked down a big 3 there, and it's 33-25, lead cut to 8.
Boy, and that was just nothing but smooth. I mean, Tanner Johnson caught, hands and feet were ready.
And Norman this time runs right over top of Booth. That's a charge every time.
That's a charge every time, and Norman has had that lane tonight. Tonight, finally, Lexington Catholic cuts off that lane, stands in there and takes the charge, and this is a big swing of momentum that Lexington Catholic needed right now because they were down 11. So the 3 and now taking the charge. They're coming right back.
Great heads-up play there by Walker Booth, the big 6'5", 6'6" senior for the Knights. That's Michael Talbot. He hands over to Reese Ryan. Ryan dribbles in, cut off by Crowley. There's some contact there. We're going to have a travel call on Reese Ryan.
Well, I couldn't see the travel from my angle, but looked like a good play there for Ryan.
Full court press by the Knights. Norman is going to dribble it out of bounds. Good defense by Reese Ryan. Give it back to Lexington Catholic.
Well, if you're Lexington Catholic, you're encouraged because you're getting some turnovers now. Your pressure, your full court press is forcing Henderson into some bad decisions. There was a charge, and then there was another turnover there by Norman. So, you've got some positive things. You've got Tanner Johnson knocking down his first shot of the half.
5:47. Here's Johnson, another 3, and that's off the mark. Rebounded by Crowley. Leads it out to Washington. Washington down the left side on the dribble, now brings it back out. Comes over to Simmons. Simmons holds it high over his head, loops it back to Washington. 5:30 to go in the third. 33-25. Henderson County by 8. Crowley down low. Gives it now right side. Washington about a 10-footer off the mark. Good box out by Booth there on Mattingly, and Talbot is the recipient of that rebound.
Well, and that's what you're going to have to do if you want to come back. You've got to box out.
Jared Griffith, the baseline 12-footer, won't go. Rebounded by Washington. Crowley's got it. Crowley back over to Washington, left side. Free throw line extended. He kicks it over to Simmons on the right side. Simmons pounds it down and now bounces it back to Washington. He's going to set up the offense out near the LC logo.
Henderson in absolutely no rush on the offensive end. Ready to work a little clock against this zone.
4:49 and hand off Crowley. He kicks it over left side. Smith lets the 3 go off the mark. Talbot tracks it down. It's a good opportunity here for Catholic to give it to Tanner Johnson way out top. Tanner cut off, wrap around, now a little floater. Got it, Johnson.
Boy, that was just a big-time heads-up basketball move by Tanner Johnson to work the defender, change directions, drive him in, squared up, knocks down the jumper, forces Henderson County into a timeout.
Makes it 33-27. Henderson lead was 11. It's now 6. We'll return here on PrepSpin and WVLK with Henderson County leading 33-27. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
You need a website. Why not do it yourself? You know your business. With Wix.com, you can create a professional website all by yourself. It's easy and free. With Wix.com, you don't need to be a programmer. Just use the intuitive drag-and-drop website builder. There's no limit to how creative you can be. It's your website, your style. Show the world what you can do. Create your own stunning website today. Go to Wix.com. It's easy and free.
WVLK. William Warfield here with PrepSpin producing, and Terry Murphy back at WVLK. Gary Ball here with Justin Cheatham, and Coach 33-27. Here's Crowley lining up a 3 off the mark, and rebound and stick back by Washington.
Well, that's what you can't give up if you're Lexington Catholic is second chance opportunities. Henderson comes down, misses another shot. That's about their 6th miss in a row. No one boxes out, and Henderson gets the board.
Talbot. Catholic looks a little tired to me, Coach.
They look a little tired. Yeah. They played a little lethargic against Casey, and it's kind of that sort of demeanor.
Talbot's shot won't go as he ran into Washington. Also, Curley was there. They lead it out to Simmons. He works on Tanner Johnson. Simmons stutter step and throws it over to Smith. He leads it out to Mattingly. Good save there by Smith. Mattingly down the paint, and strong move. Missed the layup. Johnson taps the Booth, and here comes Talbot wanting to push. He's got Ryan out in front of him. Talbot crossing over off glass and put it down. He will get the soup and the sandwich.
Wow, just a great guard play right there by Talbot. Heads up, under control, looks to pass, not there, takes the shot, banks it in. going up to the line for the and one, can cut into this lead, cut it down to 5.
3:35. That was a super move. And you know what helped him there, at least psychologically, was Reese Ryan. He knew his big forward was underneath the basket to maybe get the miss.
Right. That certainly helps when you've got a rebounder down there.
Here's Talbot's three-point opportunity. In and out. Tapped around. Norman knocked it out along with Curley. It'll go back to Catholic. So, boy, a three-pointer here, and Catholic would have it down to one-possession ball game.
Well, the momentum has swung to Lexington Catholic right here. They just have to step it up and take advantage of these opportunities.
Johnson looking to get it in play. He's got 11 points. Way out top. Stolen by Norman. Trying to go to Morris out there. Brady Norman working down on Akbugu to the basket. Lays it in. Brady Norman. That's 8 for him.
Well, it was Brady Norman who lost the ball out of bounds. And, boy, great players get it back. And that's exactly what Brady Norman just did right there. He got it back after his mistake.
Talbot penetrating off glass. Good again. Talbot now. All of a sudden, he's got 10 points, Coach.
Finding something that works. Talbot driving.
37-31. Close ball game. Henderson's got the basketball. That's David Simmons. He had 28 last night in their upset win over number 1 ranked Trinity. Nice crowd in here.
It's an excellent crowd in here. Great basketball game.
Norman looking down low, bounces to Simmons, posting up, and here's a shove called from behind a Walker Booth.
Booth can't believe it. He can't believe he just got called for the push right there. But I tell you, Simmons is so big and so strong that it's hard to keep up with him.
2 team fouls against each club. By the way, that was a third on Walker Booth. 2:45 here in the third. 37-31. Henderson County by 6 here at the finals of the Traditional Bank Classic. What a field. 8 ranked teams coming into this field.
Right. This is just an excellent tournament. It sets the bar for all other Christmas tournaments around, and just a great final right here.
Scoop won't go there for Simmons. Tapped up Norman. Oh, there's Tanner Johnson battling. Picked back up by Washington. Puts it home.
Boy, and Gary, on that loose ball, Tanner Johnson and Simmons got wrapped up, and they just weren't going to let go. They both went down.
In the middle, working with it is Mars. He's in there. Donovan's in there with J.J. Akbugu, Michael Talbot, Walker Booth, and Tanner Johnson. Henderson County, they're going with Brady Norman. Washington. Here's Talbot to the basket. Rolls off. Walker Booth battling, but pulled out of there by Smith. Gets in the middle of Washington's got a 3-on-2. Bounces over to Norman. Johnson back, and he lays it up over Johnson and good.
Boy, does anyone run the floor better around the state than Brady Norman? I mean, he gets so many easy baskets. But it's not easy. He is sprinting. He's not running down the floor. He is sprinting down the floor to get out in front of the play and get the assist from his teammates.
Lexcath had it down to 37-31 and then 4 unanswered by Henderson. They now have their lead stretched back out to 10, 41-31. We'll step out here. We'll come back on WVLK. Thanks to Rafferty's Restaurants and Sutherland Chevrolet. Sutherland Chevrolet in Nicholasville. Don't text and drive.
So you finally got your dream car. BMW, Land Rover, Mercedes, Jaguar, Mini Cooper. Just because your dream may have cost a lot, that doesn't mean maintenance and repairs have to. Scheller Automotive offers a dealership experience at the cost of an independent. It's not just a car, it's an investment. Come to Scheller's with over 100 years experience. Don't put off regular maintenance or small repairs. Fix them before they become big problems. Scheller Automotive on Commercial Drive, 225-6277.
Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham, William Warfield from PrepSpin, Terry Murphy at WVLK Studios downtown Lexington. Simulcasting tonight on WVLK 590 Sports and also on PrepSpin. You can watch it. Coaches like you were able to watch it in the comforts of your living room last night.
Right. It is just a great resource, great asset, and people should definitely take advantage of it.
PrepSpin.com, PrepSpin/YouTube. Down low, Johnson hanging and scoring. Great assist by Jared Griffin.
Wow, great assist by Griffin and an excellent backdoor there by Tanner Johnson. Great drawn-up set there by Coach Salzman out of that timeout. Gets a great easy basket, sets the press, extends the press a little bit to full court, and forces Henderson County right back into a timeout.
And they want a full timeout, so we want to thank Rafferty's Restaurant. Rafferty's Restaurant, you hear my catchphrase, soup and a sandwich. I've used it once tonight. I think it was on the
it was on the Talbot Drive
on the Talbot
a few minutes ago.
Drive.
That's right.
We got the soup and Rafferty's sandwich. Rafferty's Restaurants, they got the open-face prime rib, and it just happens to be the first place that Coach Justin Cheatham took his lovely wife on a date to.
That's right. It was our first date at the Rafferty's there on Nicholasville Road, and so we're hoping that they pull in there and build another one. Maybe a super Rafferty's. That would be awesome.
Rafferty's Restaurants with a special as you. Also want to thank Kentucky Center for Orthodontics, Dr. Durbin Wong and Garner. Dr. Durbin Wong and Garner at Kentucky Center for Orthodontics.
That's where we go. That's where my daughter Faith got her braces, and they did an excellent job.
I'm sure Santa was very good to Faith this year.
He was, but he should be. She's the perfect child, and I'm not biased at all.
At all.
No.
You should be proud. I've met her. She's the cutest little thing. She's like
sweet.
Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah.
And that's
She's
serious.
sweet. She's sweet.
Coach Justin Cheatham. You are the academic dean at Tates Creek now, correct? Am I correct?
Right. I've been there for 10 years, and it's a great school.
It is.
I'm very proud to be there.
And you do a great job there as the academic dean. Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham, William Warfield, and Terry Murphy. Terry had a little bit of a fall yesterday. I guess he's better. Here's Smith right side. Down low they go to Simmons. Simmons dumps back to Washington, hangs and scores. Boy, I tell you what, when they get it down there, Coach, it's pretty much money in the bank.
They're just tough to defend, and they're passing the ball so well, and they're moving without the ball so well, and that's what makes them so difficult to defend.
Lead is 10. Let's see if Catholic can get it down to. Here's a lob to Johnson, catch, and over Simmons, and Tanner Johnson now going to work. He's got 15 now, Coach. Averages 25 this Tanner's got 15 right now.
Well, that's 2 straight trips that Lexington Catholic has gone with the back door at the same spot on the floor with Tanner Johnson.
To Norman, running the floor. Blocked away by Tanner Johnson. He said, I've seen enough with this Brady Norman kid lay it up on us. And Tanner went up and swatted away. Good block by TJ.
That was a beautiful block, and what made it so great is he controlled it.
Deep three, skips off the front of the iron. Tracked down by Norman. Boy, Tanner. Here's a steal, though, the other way. Driving down, and a foul's going to be called on Curley as he hammered Ogbugu.
Well, that was Ogbugu coming up with the steal and attacking the basket, and this is the energy that I think we all expected to see from Lexington Catholic from the start.
No doubt. At the line, Ogbugu, he can cut it down to 6 points. He's going to shoot a couple of free throws with 35 seconds here in the third quarter, 43-35, and J.J. Ogbugu at the line. His free throw is good.
Well, Lexington Catholic has been in a three-quarter court press just about the entire evening. These last couple of trips, they've gone full court, and they're getting some good traps out of it and taking advantage of it.
Tanner Johnson is what is he now? He's hit 1 3, so he's 1 for 6.
He's 1 for 6. That's right. No, he's 1 for 7 now.
1 for 7.
That last one made
That's right. Ogbugu knocked down both throws. It's 43-37. Full court pressure by the Knights. Washington into front court over to Simmons, down to 26 seconds here in the third. Simmons down the lane, throws it up, no, battles for it, gets it back, powers it up, rolls off. Simmons hits the floor, and what's the call here? And they're going to say foul on the floor. Coach Smithhart wanting the basket to count, but the outside official had a foul on the floor before the stick back. They're going to give it back to Henderson County.
Well, Gary, there was a rebound, and Simmons came up with it, and somehow 2 Lexington Catholic players ended up on the ground. So I'm not sure how that.
Norman's three, back of the rim, some shoving going on, but Reese Ryan pulls it out of there. And he throws it to Griffin. He wasn't looking for the ball.
Yeah, just an unforced error right there. The physicality of Henderson County, especially Simmons, is really starting to get under the skin of Lexington Catholic.
I'm not sure why why Jared wasn't looking for the ball, but nevertheless, maybe Reese shouldn't have thrown it. Not sure about that situation. Being a former player myself, I was always looking to see where the basketball was. Here's Smith out of the right, and a three, and a deep three, good.
Wow, Smith just nails a deep three right at the buzzer with Tanner Johnson in his face, and that is a shot that just really hurts the momentum the Lexington Catholic had going.
Makes it 46-37, Henderson County by 9 as we come back with the fourth quarter here on the Rafferty's Edward Jones Financial High School Basketball Game of the Week.
Do you have unfiled tax returns or owe the IRS or state more than $10,000? If you don't take action now, your tax problem is going to get worse, much worse. Seizure of property, bank levies, wage garnishments, and potential criminal prosecution. And if you owe the IRS back payroll taxes, chances are you will be visited at your home or business by an IRS agent. Don't become paralyzed by
Well, that was a pick 3 there by Smith. Here's Washington down the lane on Booth. Scoop, no good. Pulled out of the Donovan Morris. Morris leads it on the right side to Talbot on the dribble. Talbot down the right side, cut off by Washington. Out top, Morris between the rings. Backs it back out of there. Brady Norman on him man-to-man. Morris kicks over to Walker Booth. Right side free throw line extended. He comes back out to Morris out top. Swinging to Tanner Johnson. Simmons on him. Johnson faking in the lane behind the back dribble. Simmons with the steal. Simmons with the bust down. Driving, he's grabbed as he throws it up and in. Let's see if they count the basket. He threw it in, and the officials are going to talk it. I think they're going to give him the basket as well. Yep. And they are going to count the basket.
Well, Gary, if you have any question about the physicality and the strength and the athleticism of Simmons, that sequence of events right there. First, he's man-to-man against Tanner Johnson, one of the best players in the state, takes the ball away from him, goes down, and with a hand on his wrist manages to make the layup and the free throw.
And he has 16 points now. That's right at his average. The lead is a dozen for Henderson after Lex Cath had it down 37-31. Coach Brandon Salzman wants a timeout. 7:22 to play. I think he wants to get back in the game Jared Griffin, the senior guard. So with 7:22 to play, it's Henderson County 49, Lex Cath 37. We'll be back on the Rafferty's High School Basketball Game of the Week.
Today's #1 reason to love SweetJack.com? Buffets. With just a couple of clicks at SweetJack.com, you can nab $50 to spend at Ryan's, Old Country Buffet, and all your favorite buffet restaurants for just $30. Savor a just like Mama made it home-style meal at over 300 nationwide locations. Tap into SweetJack.com on your phone or computer right now for 40% off your local Ryan's and Old Country Buffet restaurants.
Sweet Jack, now that's a real sweet deal.
Back with 7:22 to go, and Coach Cheatham said it best. Simmons stripped the ball, went down, powered it up, drew the foul, made the basket, got the hoop and the harm, and got the steal. So you got a steal, a basket, and a free throw all in one play.
Right, and if you're Henderson County, you were in this exact situation against Manual. You had a 12-point lead, and you gave up the entire lead.
Simmons battling with Tanner Johnson, and that foul's going to be called on David Simmons. That's right. Number 1 on Simmons.
We've got some real physical play right now going on. A little bit of bumping, a little bit of elbowing through from Simmons, and Tanner Johnson's just trying to play through it right now.
Lob to Tanner, and he throws it up right side. Banks it home with 2 guys hanging on him.
Wow, 2 guys hanging on him, Gary. Had to be a foul right there. No call. Tanner Johnson gets knocked to the ground, still knocks it in.
That's 17 for TJ, 49-39. He's the game's high scorer now. Simmons has 16 on my sheet for Henderson. 49-39, under 7 minutes to play, though. Coach, what's it going to take for Lex Cath here down 10?
They have to step up on the defensive end and, on the offensive end, take the right shot at the right time, but it all starts right here, rebounding.
Simmons' shot won't go, tapped around. Tanner Johnson's got it. Washington got a hand on it, but TJ came out of there with it. He gives to Talbot. Down the middle of the floor, hands to Tanner Johnson. An NBA 3, rolls out of there. Rebounded, though, by Booth. Booth with the power move, reverses it up and in.
Wow, and there you go. That's what it takes. Tanner Johnson can't get him to fall tonight. Booth crashes the boards and gets the 2.
Almost a steal. Johnson had a steal, but there's a foul on the inbound pass and a foul on Talbot.
Well, Talbot and Johnson can't believe it, but you know what? That's the energy that Lexington Catholic is going to need if they're going to mount a comeback right here.
49-41, Henderson by 8, 6:25. That's a lot of time in a high school basketball game, 6 minutes, 25 seconds.
Well, especially what we've seen in this tournament with so many times.
Washington has it stolen. That's Ryan. He has it stolen back by Washington.
Boy.
Washington. Then he has it stolen back by Ryan. He gives it to Jared Griffin. Back and forth we go, Coach.
All right. So 2 turnovers, 2 steals right there in the last 3 seconds.
So, yeah. Fumble recovery by Reese Ryan. The quarterback he fumbled the snap, but he got back on it. And to the basket, Talbot, and he is going to be fouled.
Well, and anytime Smith matches up on Talbot, Lexington Catholics are spreading the floor and driving Talbot, which is the right thing to do because he's either made the basket or gotten to the free throw line every time this half when they've gone to that.
Some concerned looks by Coach Tyler Smithhart down there at Henderson County. He knows, hey, they're at the line. They can cut this thing down to 6, and there's still 6 minutes to play.
Right. Well, he remembers the Manual game. Henderson
Right.
had a 12-point lead, blew it, and had to steal the ball and make some free throws with 1 second to go to advance.
Brian Station played well in this tournament. You know, Henry Clay, I keep saying it, but, man, I really miss Jeremiah Tisdale. I know I don't miss him any more than Daniel Brown does.
Right.
Special player. And they won't have him this year, torn ACL. But
great player.
Isaiah's stepping up, though. And
he's doing a great job.
And so is Jordan Houston. Here's a steal on the inbound by TJ. Tanner Johnson. Catholic can get it down to 4.
Boy, the pressure really starting to pay off now. That's 2 turnovers in a row.
49-43 steal by Tanner Johnson. Talbot down the right side, gives to Reese Ryan. He comes back out to Tanner Johnson. He hands now to Talbot with 5:42 to play, and Henderson 49, Lexcath 43 here at the finals of the Traditional Bank Holiday Classic. Over to Ryan, free throw line extended, on the dribble, hands it to Johnson, lines up the 3, and that's in and out. Walker Booth battling, picked up by Brady Norman.
Boy, you have to wonder, has Johnson ever had such a poor shooting night?
Not that I've seen all the years I've covered him, and I've covered him since he was a freshman. And that shot won't go there. I tell you what, how big now was that 3 by Mr. Smith there at the end of that third quarter? And he hit it from right in front of the Henderson bench.
It would be a one-possession game right there if Lexington Catholic had been able to hold them there right at the end of the quarter.
16 fouls against Catholic, 5 team fouls against Henderson. Norman down low, kicks it over to Smith. Smith back now to Norman. Now they give it to David Simmons with Johnson on him. Simmons into the paint, kicks it right side over to Crowley. The 3 off the mark. Talbot there trying to get a hand on it, but he knocked it out of bounds. It'll go back to Henderson County as Washington there battling him for that rebound.
A whole lot of tired players on the court right now. Crowley could not have been more wide open, just didn't have the legs. And you saw Lexington Catholic there not boxing out, not having the legs to go up and get the rebound.
Washington down low to Simmons. Simmons hop, skip, and a jump, and then he's going to draw the foul there. So they called it on.
Well, Simmons catches the ball, drives, draws 3 Lexington Catholic jerseys, and he is just so tough to defend, so quick.
First foul on Ryan, and David Simmons up there shooting a couple of free throws, and the first one is good.
Boy, and what a great free throw shooter he is as well.
He has made 5 for 5 in this game, so add that to last night. He's made 16 out of his last 17 free throws.
That's impressive.
Make that 17 out of his last 18 free throws as he knocks that one down.
That's something.
51-43. Colonels by 8, 4:53 to play. Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham, William Warfield, Terry Murphy here on WVLK and PrepSpin. If you want to watch this game, go to PrepSpin/YouTube. It's in high definition. You can hear our call. Here's Ryan to the basket, throws it up, draws the foul, and the foul's going to go on DJ Smith.
Good drive there by Ryan, and you get to the free throw line with the clock stopped. That's what Lexington Catholic needs to do, but they have to convert on their free throws. And Gary, we were talking about Simmons. He's 94% between last night's game and tonight, 94% from the free throw line.
Reese Ryan knocks down the free toss.
Well, Lexington Catholic is right in this game. It's a 7-point game. You can cut it to a 2-possession game right here. Their press has been very effective as of late.
Free throw missed, but Norman flies through and rebounds out with one hand.
Yeah, he can really get up when he wants to.
What's his vertical?
I don't know. I was shocked last night at the dunk. I had no idea he had that in him.
Washington, Norman has it right side, stolen away by Ryan.
Well, that's just great hustle by Reese Ryan right there.
Johnson leads it out to Jaron Griffin. They're trying to get Jaron Griffin going here in the final 4 minutes and 19 seconds. He's open from 3, launches, and knocks it down. That's right on cue.
Right on cue. Jaron Griffin takes advantage of the open look, knocks down the 3, cuts this to a 4-point game.
And Washington in trouble, being double-teamed, and he's going to get a quick timeout. Great defense by Jared Griffin and Michael Talbot, nearly causing a turnover there. 51-47, and Catholic behind Jared Griffin's big 3, then the press defense. They're right back in it, Coach. We got 4:04 to play.
Well, that press has been coming up farther and farther, and they get Washington in a great trap right there. Everyone on Lexington Catholic's team does their job, forces the turnover.
We'll be back here and on PrepSpin and on WVLK 590 with 4 minutes to go in the game. 51-47, Henderson by 4.
This Christmas, when you put money in a Salvation Army kettle, expect change. Expect homes and hearts to be warmed. Expect empty stomachs and hungry souls to be fed. Expect need and despair to be transformed by hope and joy. Whether you give at our kettles or at SalvationArmyUSA.org, expect your contributions to change lives. The Salvation Army, doing the most good.
That's Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel playing there. That's kind of fitting. That would be our bumper music, Coach.
Yeah, well, and that's very fitting for Simmons. I'm telling you, he is a sledgehammer coming down on everybody in this tournament.
4:04 to play, 51-47. Curley set to put it in play to Washington. Full court press, 2-2-1 variety by the Knights. They're into black, Henderson into white here tonight. Carry ball, Justin Cheatham, William Warfield, Terry Murphy.
Well,
Curley skips it, a high pass to Smith, and he saves it just like a football player and throws it back out to Simmons. Under 4 minutes now, Simmons into the paint on Booth, faking with the ball, and powers it up and draws the foul. That's what Simmons does. If he doesn't finish, he's going to draw a foul almost 99% of the time.
Well, that's right. Every time he keeps the ball so low on the dribble and then has a great vertical, gets up in the air, and takes it strong to the basket every time. And you're exactly right. He's either going to score or he's going to get to the free throw line.
And he does what he does, makes free throws, and he does that very well. He is 7 for 7 in this game, 12 of 13 last night. So he has 19 out of his last 20 free throws.
Right. So he's 95%. So he's 95% from last night to tonight.
And he's the reason it's a 53-47 ball game. He's got 20 points on my sheet, Coach.
Yeah, just an outstanding performance again tonight.
28 last night against Trinity. Here's Griffin going now to Reese Ryan. And he goes down low to Johnson, posting up, back to Reese Ryan.
Ooh.
He comes over to Jared Griffin. 3:22 to play.
Ryan had the look, but he wanted to find Griffin because Griffin's the one who made the last three.
In the corner to Reese Ryan. He looks. He needs some help now. Bad pass. Throws it to Mattingly, and he plays, and then there's almost a steal by Griffin. And the pass there by Mattingly was nearly picked off by Griffin.
Well, it was a bad pass because Ryan had picked up his dribble, and he was out of position to make the right pass.
In the middle, they come now to Crowley. Back to Washington. Down to 3 minutes to play in this basketball game, 53-47. Crowley way out top. Won't take the three. He's a 46% three-point shooter.
Well, that's something when you're leaving a almost 50% three-point shooter wide open.
Smith knocked down the big three at the end of the third quarter. To the basket and the dunk by Simmons.
And the woos from the crowd say it all, Gary. I'll tell you what, that was great ball movement by Henderson. They get the ball to Simmons in the corner. He drives right in there and slams it down.
Here's a hang, and a shot won't go there for Talbot. Tapped around, and Washington's got it for Henderson. He sees Simmons out in front of him, leads it to him, goes in on Johnson. There's a hard foul on Johnson on Simmons. That will send Simmons to the line with 2:22 to play.
Well, that was a good hard foul by Tanner Johnson, and, Simmons did the right thing. He jump stopped, ball faked, got Johnson in the air, and Johnson wasn't about to let him get the end one. So send the 95% free throw shooter back to the line.
Simmons free throw. He finally missed one. That's his first miss tonight. He only missed one last night, so I guess he's allowed one miss a game, Coach?
I guess so. Just one, though.
Second one by Simmons, and he got it.
Well, that dunk might have just taken all the wind out of the Lexington Catholic sail because the body language on the Lexington Catholic players right now is just not very encouraging.
You say that, then if Tanner Johnson knocks down a couple of threes here, he's open from one there. That's off the mark, though, and rebounded by Washington.
Yeah, and Tanner just can't believe it. He just cannot believe he's had this many looks and can't get one to fall tonight.
Crowley over to Simmons, fakes with the ball, goes down the lane, scoop, and he draws another foul. Like I said, he's either going to get fouled or finish it, isn't he?
He sure is. He sure is. And, I mean, he's just a man among boys right now. He's getting the ball and doing whatever he wants to on the court. Just a tremendous performance in this tournament by Simmons.
He will probably, no doubt, be, if they are the tournament champions, he'll be the MVP of this tournament.
Yeah, and, I'm looking on his recruitment sheet. It says he's getting interest from Eastern Illinois, Austin Peay. I think he might get a little bit.
Coach Tony Wise last night said if he had that kind of performance he had last night against Trinity at the state tournament, he'll be on everybody's radar.
He'll be on everybody's radar.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to all the folks that worked this tournament. William Warfield, of course, from PrepSpin. Thanks to Coach Cheatham, of course, Tony Wise, and thanks to Coach Red Hutchinson, Carl Red Hutchinson, all the folks that helped out on this tournament.
Right. I tell you what, Red and Tony both do a great job with you, and I enjoy listening to them.
Simmons misses another free throw, Coach, and that's kind of a shock. And that draws some oohs and ahs from the fans because they're just not used to seeing number 11 miss any free throws. He missed them both. A three-pointer here could maybe give Catholic some hope. Might have to get out the CPR, but here is Griffin. No, won't go. They're battling for it as Ryan coming out of there with it, Washington. Johnson tried to grab. They lead it out to Norman. He'll scoop and lay it in.
Boy, the legs still are with Henderson. They're just flying up and down the court.
They lead it 58-47. Knocked away out to Talbot with 1:32 to play. Stay tuned after the game. We'll wrap it up here from the Traditional Bank Holiday Classic. Talbot into the lane. Throws it up. No. Curley leads it out. Washington sees Norman. Leads it out to him. Norman drives down, hangs, and scores. That'll do it, Coach.
That'll do it. I'll tell you, this Henderson team, they are a scrappy, hard-nosed, tough basketball team. And if they're on your schedule out there right now, just be ready for just an absolute workout.
Absolutely. And they will win it 60-47 with 1:03. They're up 60-47.
And what's really impressive is in 2 games in this tournament versus Henry Clay, they're down double digits, and you think it's over. Versus Trinity, Henderson's down double digits.
Yep.
You think it's over. Their players never think it's over. They always believe that they're going to win the game. I mean, that's the way they play. They get the loose balls. They get the 50-50 balls. They crash the boards, and they share the ball really well.
Donovan Morris knocked down that first free throw and the second when he got him. 60-49, 1:03 to go. Looks like Henderson County is going to win the Traditional Bank Classic here. Long pass to Norman, getting behind it. Johnson taps it, though, and gets it back. Good steal by Tanner Johnson. Johnson skips it down low. Here's Ogbugu, and he lays it up and in. Good dish from Johnson. Makes it 60-51 with just 52 seconds to go. Stranger things have happened, Coach, but it is a 9-point lead by this Henderson County team looking to win their 11th ball game of the season.
It's unlikely, but you can set a press, get a steal, knock down a 3. Of course, you're going to need another steal, knock down another 3, but there are 3 possessions. You can be assured Lexington Catholic will have 3 more possessions in this ball game. The problem is they have to score 3 threes on each possession and hold Henderson to 0. So it's unlikely, but anything's possible.
And if Henderson holds on to beat Catholic here tonight and they're up 9, there's nothing to think that they wouldn't pull this one out with 52 seconds left. It would be the first loss by Catholic to a Kentucky team.
First loss. That's exactly right. They have had their way with the Kentucky teams. And but you know what? This Henderson County team, they're just come in here to Lexington through this tournament, and I think surprised a lot of people. I mean, people knew that they were ranked and they were good, but I don't think anyone expected the athleticism and just the tenacity that they play with for 32 minutes. It's just really something to watch.
And, one guy that I have not seen get in tonight, I'm looking at the bench, I don't even see him on the bench, is big Peter Whitman, the 6'6" sophomore for Catholic.
He hasn't been in.
And he has not, I don't see him, I don't know if he's ill or under the weather. Not sure. It's a championship game or maybe out of town. Pass in the middle goes to Washington down to 47 seconds. 60-51, Henderson, and there's going to be a foul on Jared Griffin.
Something we haven't talked about much tonight also is just the asset that Washington is to this Henderson County team. His speed and ball handling skills, wow, he just really makes a difference. And Crowley, he's missed the threes, but he's handled the ball well, and they're just a very unselfish team.
Hey, what is TJ from 3? Is he 1 for 8, Coach?
It might be 1 for 9
1
at this
for 9.
point.
We'll check that stat for you when we get the final stats and wrap it up. But normally Tanner Johnson is money from 3. He at least hits 4 or 5 every game at least, sometimes 7 or 8. The second free throw connected, 61. Here's Johnson, a deep 3. Got that one. Tanner's probably thinking, man, where's that been tonight?
Right. Well, they've all looked good. He's got such great form. His hands and feet are ready. And they just haven't fallen. And sometimes you have nights like that, but you know what? He's still shooting, and that's what you want to see. He's still working hard for the ball. He knocks down that 3, cuts it to a 7-point game, and you want to see the Lexington Catholic kids continue to battle right to the closing horn.
One game we're looking at, Mr. Warfield, is next Tuesday, right? Lexington Catholic's at Lexington Christian, and that should be a big game that we'll have next Tuesday, Coach Cheatham. Lexington Catholic is at Lexington Christian, who's got a fine ball club this year.
Oh, wow. I mean, you talk about the 43rd District and, who's probably expected to be in that championship game, those two teams right there is probably the favorites and could possibly be the favorites to then make it to the regional finals as well.
You know, and that's no disrespect to teams like Bryan Station, Henry Clay, Scott County, those teams in the 42nd district, and then 11th. And Madison Central, I saw Coach Feldhouse. You know, Madison Central's got a fine ball club in the 11th region this year. But you're right, the 43rd loaded again with LCA, with Catholic, with Lafayette, with Tates Creek and Dunbar. Toughest district at least one of the toughest in the state. I'd say the top 3 or 4, maybe the toughest.
Right.
Curley, trouble getting it in, and 5-second call. And right now, I tell you what, if Tanner Johnson could bury a quick 3 here, Coach, make this 61-57, stranger things have happened in 36 seconds.
That's right. You know that Lexington Catholic has an out-of-bounds play for this situation that gets them a 3-point look.
Talbot looking way out top, and he kicks it over now to Agbugu. He gives it to Morris. Morris spinning, throws it up and in. Morris with a nice move. 61-56. They need a steal here with 28 seconds, but Simmons has got it. Simmons gives it over to Crowley. Long pass to Smith. Wide open Norman. Here's going to be a grab as Griffin's going to make sure Norman doesn't get another layup, so he grabs Smith and fouls him.
That was a really smart foul there by Griffin to foul Smith before the ball left his hands, because it was clearly going to be an easy 2 for Norman. You foul Smith, stop the clock, to send him to the free throw line, and, he misses these, you give yourself a chance.
At the line, DJ Smith, the senior. And the free throw good. Smith's had a nice ball game. He's a young man, as we said, if you're watching PrepSpin. He hit a 3 from right in front of the Henderson bench right there that was huge. Was at the end of the third period?
It was the end of the third period when Lexington Catholic was making a run, had the momentum, and had the ball and turned it over. And Henderson makes them pay.
Morris down the lane on Crowley. Hanging and banking, no good. Tapped up Agbugu and won't go. And rebounded by Washington with 8 seconds, and he's going to be grabbed by Agbugu. And so the foul will be on J.J. Agbugu with 8 seconds. And 63-56. Good ball game here tonight. I tell you what, this thing would be real interesting had Tanner Johnson been able to get some of those threes to go early when he was, 1 for 8 or something like that?
You get a couple of them to fall, it's a different ball game, but I tell you, the defense of David Simmons had a lot to do with that. He put so much pressure on you all the time. You have to work so hard for the ball. You need to get your shot off maybe just a little quicker than normal. And a lot of credit goes to the Henderson County defense.
Free throw knocked down by Washington. He's had a good ball game too, Coach. I show him with double figures now for DJ. Averages 14. Well, this Henderson County team is going to be hard to deal with in that second. I know Hoptown's good and Hopkinsville's always good, but Henderson going to be hard to do. Here's Johnson, a long 3. Back of the rim, no, and that's kind of surmised his game tonight. And the championship goes to Henderson County. Henderson County wins the Traditional Bank Classic 64-56 over a good Lexington Catholic team. Henderson County 11-2. Catholic drops to 9-4 on the season, but they get to the finals once again of their championship. We'll come back with a post-game show and wrap things up here from the Danny Haney Court at the Buter Gymnasium on the campus of Lexington Catholic. 64-56, the victory for Henderson County.
Clean up, and once a quarter they will contact you to help clean up all of the unwanted garbage you pick up from the internet. And speaking of phone support, 15 seconds is the longest you'll wait to get a support technician on the phone. So see all the products at visioncomputers.com and then call them 8779-VISION. That's 8779-VISION. 8779-VISION. Vision Computers. What happens next is what really matters. Vision Computers for today and tomorrow.
And now your tournament champions from Henderson County, the Colonels.
Back here to wrap things up on the post game, where tonight Henderson County wins the Traditional Bank Holiday Classic at Lex Cap, 64-56. Gary Ball, Justin Cheatham, William Moorfield, Terry Murphy, And Coach, I would think without question, Mr. David Simmons will be the MVP of this tournament.
Well, certainly he would have to be. I haven't seen any player play with so much passion in this tournament as David Simmons. You know, and a lot of credit both on the offensive end and the defensive end. I mean, he did a tremendous job tonight defending one of the best players in the state, Tanner Johnson, and just, wow, this guy is just an Energizer bunny. He does not slow down. He does not let up.
I'm looking we don't have a final stat sheet, but I'm trying to look at his production tonight. He had 11 points in the first half. He had 6, 8, 10, 12. So he had 20, on my sheet, 23 points, but I could have missed a point or two on a free throw. But so 23 points tonight to Simmons. So following that up with a 28-point performance last night against number 1 ranked Trinity.
Right. He just is a primetime player. He comes ready to play. He accepts the challenge of guarding the most premier players on the other team and just does an outstanding job. And he goes to the free throw line. And he was at 95% when the game was on the line. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. When the game's on the line, he's knocking down the free throws. He wants the ball in his hands.
Named to the all-tournament team for Lexington Catholic, Michael Talbot, Jared Griffith, and Tanner Johnson. Johnson had 21 tonight. And Brady Norman, I tell you what, this kid gets behind everybody. Every team they played in this tournament that we saw how many teams did we see Brady Norman get behind and get an easy layup?
Oh, right. I mean, that's why he shoots such a high percentage, because he'll beat you down the floor in the fast break and out-sprint everybody and get the layup. He did it at least 10 times tonight.
And Matt Rose and Kyle Rode named to the all-tournament team here as well out of LCA. And David Simmons is your 2014 Traditional Bank Holiday Classic MVP from Henderson County, and they are your champs.
Well, congratulations to Henderson County and Lexington Catholic, two excellent ball teams that, they're going to have a bright year, and I expect a deep run in the tournament from both programs.
Well, that just about does it for us. We want to thank William Warfield for a great job running this tournament all week long. For Justin Cheatham, we want to thank Tony Wise, Coach Carl Red Hutchinson, all the folks that helped out. This is Gary Ball, your champions for 2014. The Henderson County Colonels out of the 2nd Region, 64. The Lexington Catholic Knights out of the 11th Region, 56. Join us next week for another big game here on WVLK. And thanks for watching on PrepSpin and also on WVLK. And Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for listening.